What the museum is, it's a number of different collections, some of mine, some of a number of other different collectors. I put it together because nobody else was doing that. Nobody else was putting this work, curating this work, not really. When we had an opportunity where Matthew and Amanda at Frieze said, we like all this work, do you want to be an affiliate event? So we said, yes please, that sounds great. And so we used that as an excuse to put on a small show, which then became a big show. But it fits into a number of different categories. Some people call it folk art, some people call it outsider art and self-taught art. But it's not any of those things uniquely. It's usually a lot of them. It's art that doesn't necessarily fit elsewhere. So it's often made privately for private reasons, not to be in the art market. So it covers a really wide range of character types. It's certainly not disabled art and it's not prison art. I think the quality of the work is really high because the vision of the people making it is so profound, and they are good artists first and foremost. Their circumstance and context is perhaps secondary. We contacted the people we knew looked at the work and liked the work, so we called Ed Richet and said, we know you like this painter Sam Doyle, would you be prepared to write some words about him? And he said yes. And we contacted Grayson Perry and said, we know you love Morton Bartlett and Henry Darger, would you write some words about her? And Mama Anderson and David Byrne and Nick Cave and Thurston Moore from Sonic Youth and Annette Messager and Christian Boltanski. Nek Chand is a gentleman, he's 86, he lives in Chandigarh, India. He was on the team of roads workers who were building the city of Chandigarh for Le Corbusier after the partition. And they destroyed all the local villages in order to make it. And this gentleman was in charge of the city dump and a bunch of workers working for him. And instead of really doing what he was meant to be doing, he decided to start making little sculptures and using them to assemble bits of recycled materials. And so they made one little garden and another little garden. And by the time they were discovered, there was about a mile of sculptures, all done in secret, all in the forest without permission, on land owned by the engineering unit of the local government. So they tried to close it down. And after many years of fighting, this secret garden is now about 2 miles of interconnected, interwoven gardens. There are about 3,000 figures in the garden. And he made the entire thing without one single map, without a single drawing, nothing. It just came out of his head. Some of these artists can't talk. So if they can't talk, maybe the eyes have it. I mean, I can think immediately, Aloise paints black eyes, like Modigliani, or Nek Chand, who's an Indian sculptor, his eyes are all kind of these quiet, knowing eyes. But they're usually self-portraits, I find. So Henry Darger's also these black eyes of the children, not necessarily in the ones downstairs, but quite often he blacked out the eyes, and they used to say that it was so that the eyes reflected the car headlights of the vehicles that went past his window. To not be restricted by what you should or shouldn't do will always make you freer. So you only wear clothes to sit at the table because people have told you it's good. Today it's cold, but if we were in a hot country, why would you be wearing them? And I think that the quality of a lot of the work is because of that freedom of not knowing what the rules are and not knowing what they should or shouldn't do. The best work is about not knowing what you should or shouldn't do.